Sometimes the redirections and the rejections are really just the universe's protection, and that has never been more true than in this lows of the cosmos that we will feel as we navigate our lives down here on planet Earth. And furthermore, what we do every single week on Magic Monday is tell you how you can co-create with these energies, seizing the highs and navigating the lows in order to live with more alignment and more magic. Hence the name Magic Monday, even though we post it out on Sundays. So this week has some high highs and some low lows. So the high highs that I'm speaking of is the Jupiter cazimi, which lands on Tuesday. This is feel good, courageous energy in which we are shooting for the moon. We are up, up and away. We are believing in ourselves. We're having courage and optimism as it relates to the next step of our journey. But then there's almost an energy around crashing a little bit down back to Earth with Venus, who will enter Gemini this week, squaring off with Saturn, which is going to make us feel a little limited as it relates to the love that we have in our lives, the money that we have in our lives. There's just this energy of limitation around reality sort of getting in the way of those big dreams that we launched on Tuesday. But as the saying goes, even if you shoot for the moon, you'll land amongst the stars. And that has never been more true than in this week. I really want you to seize that Jupiter cazimi energy and understand that yes, as we move towards the weekend with the Venus square Saturn energy, there will be certain limitations, but that doesn't mean not to try. That doesn't mean not to put yourself out there. And furthermore, I want you to understand that this energy is active within the cosmos so that as you move into this weekend, you are like, okay, well, Haley Comet told me that I would kind of be feeling a little lame right now. So I'm just going to blame it on the astrology. Keep it moving. That's why I think astrology is so powerful, because there is something healing to understand this too shall pass, right? Sometimes when we're deeply in energy, we feel like, well, that's just it now. I'm just a loser now and I'm going to be a loser forever. But understanding the astrology cycles helps us understand, yeah, this might be kind of a challenging, this might be kind of a low, but understanding it kind of allows that validation that what it is that you're feeling is to be expected. You are not a loser, okay? You're still landing amongst the stars, and you can't come at me for being a little corny this week because we have a Jupiter cazimi, okay? So Jupiter is the planet of, optimism and meaning. So I may pepper in another quote here and there, don't mind me. But this week, I want you to seize the highs, even though we know that that low is coming. That doesn't mean not to seize the energy on Tuesday, to really build up that belief in yourself, to really look out at the future through this lens of optimism and confidence. And it's just so important as we navigate high highs and low lows that we just strive to stay neutral around understanding. In the high highs, okay, this won't last forever, but in the low lows, this won't last forever as well. So striving to be grateful in those highs when you're feeling good, and striving to be graceful when you're not feeling so good. So we'll be breaking it all down thematically as well as day by day. I just want to give a reminder, if you gain any value from this content, I would deeply appreciate any bit of engagement that you can give. It really just helps me so much in creating cosmic content. This week, I can't lie. I almost just conspicuously put the cup on the floor. Yes, I am drinking a Celsius. Yes, 6 months ago, I did say that I was giving these up, but how am I meant to seize all of this Jupiter cazimi good vibes if I'm not caffeinated to do so? But anyways, let me know what you were sipping on to start the week, and let's start with Vibe Check of the Week. So Vibe Check of the Week is a segment that we do on Magic Monday where we liken all of the astrology aspects and ingresses that we will experience within the week ahead astrology. So Venus ingressing into Gemini, Venus squaring Saturn, Sun conjoining Jupiter. We liken all of that energy to a real life scenario so that even if you can't exactly remember what those terms mean, especially when it comes to your practical daily life, this essentially helps simplify by comparing it to a real life scenario that you may have experienced within your world, or at least can relate to in some way or fashion. As always, you're welcome to sub in the nuances and the details as it relates to your universe. And I love to hear when you guys comment how you relate or how a certain experience showed up within your world. I love that thread of resonance that I feel with you guys. If anyone can relate to this one, I would so love to hear. So as I alluded to within the intro, this week's astrology does feel a bit like girl bossing too close to the sun. If you've never heard that terminology, it's essentially a play on Icarus flying too close to the sun. Essentially, Icarus wanted to shoot up towards heaven, flew too close to the sun, which melted the wings, and Icarus plunged back down to Earth. There's a vibe of that this week. It's not anything that we can't rebound from, as I highlighted. It doesn't mean I don't want you to shoot high, aim high, fly high. But there is a week around really feeling ourselves, feeling super courageous, feeling super unstoppable, and just having certain challenges and restrictions that just sort of make us a little bit doubtful around, can I do this? Am I capable? So unless there's something you guys are not telling me, probably most of you guys don't necessarily fly too close to the sun as part of your daily life. So let's provide some more nuance by likening it to a real life situation. So this week's astrology feels like, let's say you are starting a business, okay? You are starting a business, you are making this jewelry. You're making this jewelry, you've been working really hard on it, and you decide to finally put it out there, and you're feeling really good. You're dialing in the website, you're dialing in your marketing plan, you're getting excited about the potential of what it could be. And this is the vibe of Sun on Jupiter with the energy particularly concentrated in Aries, the first sign of the zodiac. This is about initiation. This is about starting things. This is about having optimism within, the future. I think it's such a beautiful thing to be a dreamer, to be a creator, to birth out new things to this planet, to believe in a more beautiful tomorrow. And that's what Sun Jupiter is about. It's about believing in ourselves and believing in the potential that we can create a better tomorrow, as Jupiter is the planet of optimism, right? And with Jupiter on Sun, we could be feeling ourselves, right? And this is a beautiful thing. I want you to pour into yourself, to be confident, right? To be courageous about your abilities. And so you create this jewelry, that's the Sun Jupiter. I'm feeling myself, I've got this, is going to be a success, because that's the energy you need to channel as you start anything new. You can't go into something and be like, I don't really know. Like, you have to, even if you don't feel it, you have to kind of put forth your most confident foot forward, because people don't want to buy from people who are not sure about their jewelry themselves. If you're like, yeah, I don't really know, it kind of looks kind of weird. Like, you just have to be able to put the foot forward around, this jewelry is amazing, and people are going to be so happy when they have it. And that's the energy of Sun Jupiter, being able to channel that and chisel that and be like, yes, this jewelry business is going to be a success. Everybody's going to look so beautiful within my jewelry. And so finally, you've been preparing, you've got the website, you've got everything dialed in, you launch it, crickets. Only 1 or 2 sales. And you're excited, those first 2 sales, but you had high expectations, right? You had high expectations. You really expected a lot from yourself. You expected a lot from this launch, and you can't help but feel let down. And it's making you kind of look inward around, am I not good enough? Is my jewelry not good enough? Was I delusional to think that would be successful? No, you are not. That's why I'm saying it's not that this week I don't want you to seize that Jupiter cazimi energy. Seize it, right? This is a time of the year, Aries season, that is about launching out new things. I mean, keep in mind, Mercury is in its pre-retrograde shadow, so be a little cautious. But the energy of Sun on Jupiter is about believing in yourself, believing in your ideas, birthing things out there. Even with the pivots, you will learn. Maybe you learned from this initial launch, maybe marketing strategies that were successful, marketing strategies that were not successful. And all you can do is use that as data and know that it doesn't have anything to do with you. With Venus square Saturn, this also can speak to feeling rejection, whether it's socially, you're like, I thought my friends would support this business, right? Whether it's financially, being like, well, I haven't even made back the money that I spent on the website. What the heck? And all we can do is understand this won't last forever, and to use what's coming to the surface as data to be able to pivot, because Venus does enter Gemini this week. So being able to put on our hats of the eternal student, to learn from what comes to the surface, and to understand this is not a sign to give up. It is a sign to redirect. It is a sign to pivot. It's a sign to observe where it is that you are feeling let down, where it is that you're feeling restricted, where it is that you're feeling blocked, and look for ways to pivot. It does not mean to give up. With this energy of flying too close to the sun, sometimes we do get ahead of ourselves in that excitement. It doesn't mean we shouldn't be excited. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't fly high, right? Just understanding there will be moments in which we sort of need a little bit of a reality check, or we sort of feel a little humbled by our own expectations, and that's okay. It's not a sign to give up. It's a sign to pivot. It's a sign to take this as data, take this as a learning experience. So my loves, let's go ahead and dive into our day-by-day synopsis. I want to let you know that all timestamps are available below should you want to proceed to a particular day or jump back to a particular day. If I mention a time, it is PDT, Pacific Daylight Time, so make sure to adjust to your time zone before putting into your planner or making a mental note, as you very well may feel this energy during a different day or time than the one specified. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into our astrology forecast for Monday, April April 10th. So good morning, happy Monday. So the moon is in Sagittarius all day, making harmonious trines to Chiron, to Jupiter, to the sun in Aries, which is essentially this feel-good, expansive, adventurous energy. Like there really is vibes towards the beginning of the week around feeling like anything is possible. I can fly to the sun. I can create a jewelry business that is very successful. And again, I want you to proactively fuel that energy. Like a lot of people say with Jupiter energy that it's overrated. I just believe with Jupiter, it promises this energy of expansiveness, but we kind of have to feed it. We have to fuel that optimism within our world around what is going well, what am I excited about, what do I want to grow and to birth and to put out there. Like Sagittarius is the archer, right? So having your arrow fixated on something helps us to feel like we are moving in a direction, particularly if you are feeling a little stagnant within your world. Having something that you feel like you are moving towards, that can be so valuable in and of itself. Even if, the jewelry business doesn't necessarily turn into this mega million operation that you were envisioning, maybe it was just something that provided you some hope and some optimism. Maybe it was a way for you to tap into your creativity. So long as you are moving in some direction, feeling expanded in some way, feeling challenged in some way, then that is living. You are on track. And that's really what the Sagittarius moon is craving. Striving, if possible, if you're not working, if you have the space, to do something that does bring you closer to some sort of sense of meaning, that makes you feel excited about what it is that you're building. I really want you to consciously fuel this Jupiterian energy towards the beginning of the week. Find excuses to feel good. Find excuses to feel excited about what is possible. You might not be so inclined as it relates to the daily aspects of living, like dishes might seem a little boring, like the Sagittarius moon is most certainly craving an adventure. So if possible, to bucket Monday towards big picture tasks. Definitely bucket Monday towards hiking if you can, walking, moving your body, going on some sort of quest, learning something new. Infuse some novel into your day to day. I'm telling you, Aries sun, Sagittarius moon, both of these signs are invigorated by the idea of that something more, of that something new. So if you are feeling stagnant, firstly, you won't be feeling stagnant much longer, especially if you are one of the signs that are being majorly affected by the upcoming eclipses, which PS, I do have a deep dive all signs forecast as it relates to the upcoming eclipses. I'm telling you, things are getting a lot more interesting next week. So if you're feeling stagnant, trust that things are going to speed up quite a bit. But even if you are feeling stagnant, like looking for even just micro ways that just allow you to see things from a new perspective, right? Like in this pursuit of starting a jewelry business, to learn about shipping, you have to learn about manufacturing. Like there's so much that you have to learn about, but it allows you to feel like you are moving in a direction, and it allows you to infuse some new within your life, which even just micro ways that we infuse new within our life helps us to view our life differently, right? Like even just walking a different way, or even just listening to a genre of music we don't typically. Oftentimes when we're in the mundane, when we're in the minutia, our brain, I forget the terminology for it, I'm so sorry, I'm an astrologer, not a neuroscientist, but oftentimes when we are just navigating our reality in the same way every single time, like there's less brain activity. We're almost just lulled into complacency, into just doing the same thing every single day. So finding ways to infuse the new, to infuse learning, especially with Venus ingressing into Gemini that evening. It happens at 9:47 p.m. So for some of you, this may happen early Tuesday. Looking at every day as an opportunity to learn. And truly, we're not to it this part in the forecast, but later this week, as I highlighted, there is this energy of a bit of a rejection in some sort of way. And being able to view those rejections as simply a learning experience helps us to understand it's not that anything's wrong with you. It's not that your jewelry business won't succeed. All you can do is take this experience as data. What is working? What is not working? How can I pivot? How can I redirect? And allowing ourselves to channel and chisel that beginner's mind, right? It's such a beautiful place to be in, to just be like, okay, that didn't quite work. How can I pivot? It's a sign to redirect. It is not a sign to give up. And so on Monday, you might find that you are inclined to want to learn about something new. You may feel that you're inclined to want to go on a different sort of adventure. Perhaps there's something spiritually that is calling at your spirit. Even if it does not manifest according to your exact expectations, it is a beautiful place to be in when you are just learning and growing and expanding. And that is success, right? We define success for ourselves. Success can absolutely be living a life that is wealthy in knowledge, living a life that is wealthy in experience, and looking for every date that we go on, every idea that we write about, everything as an opportunity to learn. It helps us distance ourselves from being like, it's not that I'm a failure, it's not that I'm wrong, I'm simply learning in the school of life. So on Monday, looking for opportunities to learn. To speak to Venus and Gemini, what are some shifts that we can expect? So Venus ingressing into Gemini, we will feel this as it relates to our love lives, our financial lives, as well as our aesthetic lives. And with this energy in Gemini, we want to learn, okay? We want to learn. There's a very playful vibe about Gemini. As you know, this is the energy of sort of like the social butterfly. It's very curious. It kind of like flutters from thing to thing. Like this is sort of part of the vibe check around learning about shipping and learning about jewelry. And it's so exciting to learn about these different facets of it and just sort of just flutter from thing to thing. As well as if you are single with the Venus and Gemini, we could really be wanting to learn from our partner. Like with Venus and Taurus, we sort of wanted to ground down into stability and security. And with Venus and Gemini, we want to learn through the individual that we are on a date with. Again, so releasing this energy around, okay, pass fail when it comes to dates. Like if I don't go on a date with that exact person, then the entire, date was a waste of time. Did you learn something? Maybe about who you don't want to date, or maybe you learned a fun fact. Everything is an opportunity to learn. Even if you go to a bad restaurant, there is something to learn there. So if you are single, you can find you are inclined to want to go on dates. You can feel more chatty. You can feel more communicative. And again, there's this playful, light vibe with life. And I love that this always happens around spring because I always think, I'm in the Northern Hemisphere, because I always think of Gemini as like this butterfly energy where it just kind of flutters to flower. It doesn't like think, that last flower was so much better. It's just present for what can this flower teach me? And maybe this won't be the flower forever, but let me just be present for the now, right? Staying light with life is important with the Aries sun and with Venus and Gemini. Staying light with ourselves, not taking ourselves too seriously, looking at everything as an opportunity to either learn or laugh. That is how Gemini energy gets through life. Learning and laughing, truly, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is the jester, trickster energy. So with Venus and Gemini, we can find that we are just feeling a little bit more playful. We're able to find the humor in things, even if they're not, ideal, being able to laugh at ourselves like, wow, I only made 2 sales in my first week of my jewelry business. Like, it is kind of funny. Like, finding those little opportunities to not take yourself so seriously. And you can also see this expressed when it relates to your clothes, wanting to try new things or experiment. Like, Gemini is this energy that can be a bit of a shapeshifter. It's mutable air. And so maybe kind of being playful and staying light as it relates to your clothes or things of that nature, your makeup. And with Venus and Gemini, this can be energy in which more of your money is going to learning experiences, experiences to meet people, to socialize, as well as some of you may be feeling a call to really learn about money. And we also see this because Venus and Gemini and Mercury and Taurus are now in mutual reception, which means Venus is answering to Mercury because it's in a Mercury-ruled sign, Gemini, and Mercury is in Taurus, which is in a Venus-ruled sign, right? Taurus. So the two are answering to one another. So they're in cahoots. So I will say a positive way that you could lean into this energy if you so wanted to is really staying open to learn about your finances, ways to best use your finances, or things of that nature. Mercury will be retrograde in Taurus, so there will be a theme around finances and reflecting, reviewing. But with these two, being open to learning, maybe seeking advice, maybe maybe being open to reading more about it, things of that nature, you can absolutely infuse this mercurial energy. And the other component of these two being in cahoots is that when it comes to our, love relationships with Venus and Gemini, we really want to learn about our partner. So if you are in a committed relationship, Venus and Gemini is the energy to be able to look at this individual as though you are still, learning about them, right? Because there are things that you do not know about someone. Even if you've been with them for a long time, there are certain experiences that you're like, what? There are certain things that they'll say randomly that you're like, what? I had no idea. So sometimes it's fun to just be able to infuse that beginner's mind, or like asking weird questions. Like, I love the questions that Gemini placements ask because they're genuinely so curious about you. Like, my Gemini friend always asks the most interesting, poignant questions, like turning to me and being like, who was the last person that you connected with that you felt like you guys resonated in a very, very mental, intellectual way? Like, who do you think your brain soulmate is, and that you guys have the same mental patterns? And I'm like, girl, what? But then it like made me think. I'm like, who is my brain soulmate? Hold on. Like, they make you think. And that's why I think the energy of Gemini, they have this ability to get along with just about everybody. With Gemini energy, they're able to cut to the pure humanity that all of us share. Gemini looks at everybody as an opportunity to learn, whether it is the person who runs, your corner store, or whether it is, your professor at academia. Everybody is the same. Everybody has someone that you can learn from, right? And I feel that Gemini placements, and what we should be channeling this week, is getting to the human part of us, right? You don't have to necessarily ask who's somebody's brain soulmate, but even just getting down to parts that you can relate with somebody, to the raw humanity of it, right? And being able to connect on that level, which is why I find that Gemini placements are gifted conversationalists, because they know how to kind of connect, even if they have totally different life experiences, being able to connect on some semblance of a shared walk of life or something of that nature. So with Venus and Gemini, channel your inner social butterfly, channel your inner eternal student, looking at every person, every opportunity, every situation as something that you can learn from. So on Tuesday, April 11th, Venus, now in Gemini, trines Pluto, who's now in Aquarius in early degrees. And this is a deepening, right? So, the downside of Gemini energy, okay, and I'm not coming for you if you have Gemini placements, but the shadow side of this energy is that sometimes the knowledge that they soak up can be superficial. That butterfly maybe flies to the next flower before it's finished learning from the flower prior, right? But that's not the case on Tuesday. With the trine to Pluto, we're craving curiosity from our partnerships, but also this immense a level of depth, right, of intimacy around asking these questions, really feeling safe to plunge into the underlying layers of our psychology, right, of our soul, of our secrets. Like, that is the vibe of Venus trine Pluto. And I also want to share, this will only be a message for a couple people, but because Pluto is the energy of transformation, this is a soft flow of energy. So with Venus trine Pluto, there's almost this energy around feeling invigorated by the new learning, essentially, activities that you have taken onto your plate. Maybe you have a new volunteer activity. Maybe you are learning a new subject. Maybe you're in school. But essentially with Venus and Gemini, being excited for how this program will transform you, how it'll up-level you in new ways. Like with Venus and Gemini trining Pluto and Aquarius, there's this energy around truly feeling powerful from the knowledge that we are kind of learning, and feeling excited by the transformation that is on the way, which is next week with the first eclipse. So some ways that you can lean into this energy. One is leaning into this energy around regeneration of money. Pluto is the energy of essentially regeneration, right? Of reinventing, of rebirth. And it's fascinating because typically when you have, somebody who has a strong Pluto connected to their second house, in their second house, a lot of times they will know extremes as it relates to money. And the gift of being Plutonian, especially in linking with the second house, or today, Venus trine Pluto, Venus is the money planet, is that it reminds us that money can be regenerated. Experiences cannot. Right? Like with Venus trine Pluto, when it comes to the jewelry business, yeah, you did kind of invest some money and your first week wasn't exactly what you wanted, but you can always make more money. What was really priceless in that situation was the knowledge that you secured, right? And with Venus trine Pluto, it's like understanding like we can always earn more money, but there are certain people, connections that we can't necessarily get back. Our time we can't necessarily get back. So all I want to say, this won't be a message for everybody, but if some of you are holding back as it relates to a new, course, or maybe there's a networking event or a party and you're like, oh, I should save the money, but this really, really excites me, excites my brain. Like with Venus trine Pluto, there can be this energy around, the amount of growth that it will support my brain in is worth it. Maybe for some of you, it's like a program or a reading, but it's just this vibe around, I can make the money back. This transformation will be worth it. This connection will be worth it, right? And so with that, we're also craving depth within our relationships, right? Really going deep, really wanting to get to the core. So be mindful with who it is that you decide to go on a date with, because you guys could be talking about death in the afterlife by the end of the date. But I will say, if you're in a committed partnership, this would be a great time to really get to the core. Like again, we oftentimes just see our partner as somebody where it's like, we're just navigating our world. They're part of our routine. And there's just this lovely beginner's mind energy towards the beginning part of the week around finding ways to find the novelty within things that do feel very mundane. This might be, a Tuesday morning, like every other Tuesday morning, where the two of you are eating breakfast and getting ready for work, but finding ways to infuse something different, maybe asking a different sort of question in breakfast, baking some freaking muffins if you can get up early enough, or just little ways that you can sort of be able to get to seeing that person as a human and not just the person that you are essentially living alongside of, if that makes sense. Like finding those ways to cut to the humanity. Because like I said, with Venus and Gemini, there's this amazing thread, especially trining Pluto and Aquarius, of being able to genuinely see people. And so often when we're so swallowed up into our head, into our, routine, into our goals, into our frustrations, we forget to see the people that we see every day as just humans, right? Whether it's, the stranger at the bodega, your barista at the coffee shop, your partner that you see every day, these normal mundane interactions can be an opportunity for depth. And sometimes it just takes that moment to be like, I see you. Let's have a conversation. Let's connect outside of just, who needs to go grocery shopping after work or things of that nature. Let's connect on that human level. So looking for opportunities for that. I will say on Tuesday, so we have the Sagittarius moon squaring Neptune in Pisces, and that is the closing aspect for the Sagittarius moon. So the moon is void from 3:48 a.m. to 10:33 a.m. PDT. And since it's a square to Neptune, we could just be feeling a little listless, little in our dreams. I mean, the Sagittarius moon square Neptune doesn't want any piece of reality and of practicality. It wants to bake the muffins. It wants an excuse to procrastinate at the breakfast table, asking the last time that your partner was like genuinely terrified or what their nightmares are about or something else random. That kind of gets to that core that I was talking about. Like with the Sagittarius moon squaring Neptune, we could be feeling more in our head, more escapist, not wanting to do the task, looking at the computer and be like, oh, another email, maybe finding an opportunity to flutter to a coworker's desk to ask about something or something of that nature. So we really won't feel the more ambitious energy until the moon enters Capricorn at 10:33. And then it's like, okay, time to get to business, time to handle what needs to get done. Tuesday's interesting because when the moon's entering to Saturn, there's this energy around feeling a little bit heavy, feeling a little bit suffocated by sometimes our own expectations, right? And with the energy of moon in Capricorn, expecting a lot on ourselves, being very hard on ourselves, maybe you goofed off all morning and then you're getting to your desk and you're like, how did I not send this email to Marsha? Now she's mad at me, or what have you. Just beating yourself up, being a little hard on yourself. So just something to be conscious of. But what's interesting is that there's also this very feel-good, enthusiastic, optimistic energy. On Tuesday, please let me know if you were able to sort of feel that optimistic can-do energy, if you just felt the Capricorn moon. So with Sun on Jupiter, this is the energy around the launching of the business and just moving into something with so much excitement and enthusiasm, as you should, right? As you should. It really is this energy around like whether you think you can do it or you think you can't do it, you're right. I warned you guys, it's a Jupiter week. I'm gonna be giving some corny quotes, okay? I can't help it. But with this energy, it's around believing in ourselves, and that belief in ourselves being the only barrier, or rather the lack of belief in our own self. Like we have an exalted sun cuddled up with Jupiter, which is the grand benefic, right? It is about expansiveness and luck and meaning and opportunity, and this energy around believing in ourselves, right? Putting ourselves in the pathway. You might have only made 2 sales within the vibe check of the week, but you dared to put yourself out there. That is a start. Everyone starts somewhere, okay? Everyone starts somewhere, and that's a beautiful thing to be a dreamer, right? It's a beautiful thing to excavate and find out new parts of yourself through putting something out there. It's a beautiful thing to be confident in the person that you are, right? Like the imposter syndrome is coming a little later in the week with Venus square Saturn, but this is the energy around, I was made for this. I love making jewelry, right? I believe in myself. I believe in my ability to create something new within my world that feels soulful and inspiring. So even though this week we do have some limiting energy coming up later this week, I don't want you to keep that from dreaming. I want you to dream big. I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to pour into things that make you feel good about yourself. I want you to have a folder on your computer, literally where you drag in, I call it my like happy folder. It's a little corny. You can call it whatever you want. But like if somebody gives you a great review, right? Maybe one of those sales, you sent it to somebody and they're like, oh my gosh, this jewelry made me feel so beautiful. Putting it into your happy folder, like things that build that belief in yourself around, I am doing good. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And it's so beautiful with this energy of Aries to be able to initiate, to put something out there, to be within that bigger beginner's mind. So not everybody will be launching a jewelry business this week, but I do want you to channel on Tuesday believing in yourself, right? Maybe it's a presentation at work, walking into the boardroom with your shoulders held back, your head held high, and just believing in your ability to convey these ideas with power and with excitement, right? Enthusiasm is contagious. And when you are so inspired yourself, other people get inspired for you, right? When you are so excited about your jewelry business, that is contagious. That is magnetic, right? It needs to start with you around feeling invigorated about what this new start can entail around the person that you are. When it comes to Jupiter, like I said, a lot of people feel that Jupiter is overrated because it's meant to fill us with good feelings. It's meant to make us optimistic about, with the energy in Aries, around what it is that we can create, what it is that we can initiate, the new chapter that we are initiating. Perfect, it is not. Like sometimes we do fly too close to the sun. Sometimes we are a little delusional, but let me tell you that, for you to be successful, you kind of do have to be a little delusional. You kind of have to be a little delusional. And will everything always arise to your standards or to your highest expectations? No, but it'll take interesting pivots and redirection, and again, staying playful and light with it. So on Tuesday, I want you to do things that consciously make you feel good. Revisit your happy folder. Allow yourself to build that belief around the value that you create, right, within this world. Doing things that make you feel confident. Charge up your life force. If it's sunny, get outside, bathe under the sun, feel good. And also, if you're into manifestation, anything of that nature, with Sun, Jupiter, this is a positive day to vision board, to set goals, essentially play within the possibility. And I'll be real with you. Will everything transpire exactly as you imagine? No. I've been saying that with all of this Aries energy, that Aries new moon we had a couple weeks back. Like, I'm not saying every single idea that is shot out, every single new, thing that we put out into the world will manifest beautifully, but a couple will. And it all does with that decision to try. And to try, sometimes you have to be a little delusional to get that thing out there. So Tuesday is a powerful day for that. It's also, I love it. So Tuesday is Mars Day. Sun and Jupiter both answer to Mars. The moon's in Capricorn, which Mars is exalted in. So a lot of Mars energy. And the thing about Mars, it's about action. It's about assertion. So yes, there's this energy around feeling good about ourselves and putting things into action. So this is a day to keep your head held high. Even if you don't feel confident right now with where it is that in your life, maybe you feel a little lost. I just want to highlight, we're moving into eclipse season. So if you are feeling lost, you are in tune with the cosmos. This is literally a time out of the year where our old path is being taken away and the new path hasn't quite formulated. So if you're in that in between, be there, but believe in yourself within this pursuit. You are essentially the driver of your life, so you better be your own biggest cheerleader. And this is a time to really not allow yourself to be limited by your own failure to believe in yourself. This is a time to believe in yourself, know that you are worthy of your desires, and with so much Mars energy, if you feel inclined to act on it, all begins with that decision to try. And I will say, though the Jupiter energy can be a little delusional. It is grounded with the Capricorn moon sextiling Saturn in Pisces on Tuesday, which is around really feeling good about ourselves and creating grounding around creating the pathway forward, around what it is that we want to build or what it is that we can create. My biggest advice on Tuesday, feel optimistic about the future and then ground down into the steps that are needed to get there, right? Like with our jewelry business, we made a plan, we had a marketing plan, we're getting the website up, right? Like with this Sun Jupiter, we can feel as good as we want about ourselves, but we have to ground it down within reality. So do the manifestation work if you're into that, but ensure, if you put a car on your vision board, kind of have to go out to the dealerships to bring that energy down to planet Earth, right? You have to kind of do research around, can I afford this car? What will it take to get this car? So it's this beautiful blend around believing in ourselves to get what it is that we want and grounding down in order to create the pathway to get what it is that we want. Is it a little delusional? Are we flying a little high to the sun? Yes. But do we need that in these turbulent times? You need to believe in yourself. And so on Tuesday, while there's this hardworking energy, so when it relates to work tasks, again, we have the work ethic of Capricorn moon, we have the optimism and expansiveness of Sun Jupiter. So put yourself in the pathway for new leadership opportunities, believe in your ideas, walk into those meetings with your head held high, believe in yourself, okay? No one in this world can believe in you as much as you need to, okay? And so there's that hardworking energy. I will say, depending on where you are located within the world, you could be feeling some cranky energy on Tuesday night because we do have a harsh Mars moon aspect building to exact the following day. So you could feel this build in the evening time. So on Wednesday the 12th is when that aforementioned crabby moon Mars aspect exacts. So the Capricorn moon opposes Mars in Cancer. And this is so funny because both of these planets they're kind of like jealous of one another because the moon in Capricorn doesn't like being in Capricorn, right? Capricorn is around prestige and reputation and business. And again, when it comes to that jewelry business, you are personally relating with it because it's something that you have created. So when it doesn't perform as you want, you're hard on yourself. You're like, well, this is what I did. And that's the danger of Capricorn moon, is that we can relate what it is that we are building or what it is that we're creating for the external world as something that is internal, right, to ourselves. And so the Capricorn moon isn't too happy, isn't too pleased. And then Mars in Cancer, Mars doesn't like being in Cancer either. Mars is about action and assertion, and with it in the very nurturing, homey energy of Cancer, it's not happy there. And what's funny is that they're talking to one another and they're kind of jealous of where the other one is located because Mars exalts in Capricorn, as I highlighted. Mars loves being in Capricorn. It really helps chisel this action-oriented energy of Mars with the plan energy of Capricorn. And then the moon loves being in Cancer because the Cancer rules the moon. So it's able to be its most nurturing energy when the moon's in Cancer. So they're not in territories that they like, but they're talking to one another. They're kind of like awkward. And how you can expect this to manifest within your world is there can be this energy around feeling frustrated with what it is that you've built within your world and what it is that you have not built within your world. You could be crabby. You could be taking it out on others potentially. Like, that email of somebody saying, hey, where's this particular proposal? You could be like, can you chill out? It's on its way, Abby, or what have you. It's like, Abby, it was just an innocent question, but because you're internalizing it and being like, Abby's saying that I'm wrong because I haven't got the proposal. Abby was saying nothing of the sort. Abby was just checking in, do we have the proposal? So being conscious where it is that you're lashing out because of your insecurities or where you are not feeling capable enough. Also, with Mars and Cancer, our energy levels are kind of waxing and waning. And with the Capricorn moon, we could be taking it very personally or being very hard on ourselves. Like, what do you mean you don't feel like writing all of this copy for your jewelry business after you've worked your 9 to 6 and had to babysit or what have you? What do you mean you don't feel like writing copy at 10:30 p.m.? It's like, at the end of the day, we are humans, okay? At the end of the day, all we can do is do our best and just being conscious around where you're lashing out towards others because of where you are perceiving not being good enough. So that exacts very early in the morning, 2:03 to be exact. So you could feel low energy either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. There is productive energy to work with on Wednesday. The Capricorn moon trines Mercury in Taurus and trines Uranus in Taurus. So again, being able to find new solutions. Mercury is in its pre-retrograde shadow. I took a deep dive into this in last week's Magic Monday if you want to recap, but essentially where Mercury is going through right now, it will return back through. So just being conscious if there is something that you want to have totally fresh energy into. And so with this Capricorn moon trining Mercury and Uranus, Mercury retrograde is actually such a good thing when it comes to things that you kind of like half started and didn't totally finish. This is a really lovely time to like go back to the drawing board and see, hey, this copy that I wrote 2 years ago is actually pretty good. Let's refine it. Let's dial in, the details. This is supportive on Wednesday. Maybe there's certain tasks at work of things that you can streamline or improve. Like again, we're getting cosmic permission around, while we have this feel-good Sun, Jupiter energy, we're getting cosmic permission slip around. Life doesn't always constantly need to be forward. Sometimes to get that success that we're craving, it's about refining. It's about attuning to, the details, the structures of things, and finding perhaps new solutions to old problems. With Mercury in Taurus, Uranus in Taurus, Mercury in pre-retrograde shadow. So on Wednesday, brilliant day for writing, brilliant day for organizing. There can be, to a personal level, certain insecurities that are being broached. Again, when you put yourself out there is a whole new range of insecurities that come out, like new levels, new devils, truly. When you start this jewelry business, you open yourself up to criticism, yes, from other people, around people from your high school being like, oh, what? She thinks she's a jewelry designer, what have you, but also yourself being like, who did I think I was starting this? Who do I think I am to start this podcast? Who do I think I am? Who are you not to? Okay? With Aries energy, you kind of just need to fake it till you make it a little bit. And it might not be as easy as this, but this has genuinely been helpful for me this season. So I'm just going to share this with you. Obviously, I'm a Pisces. I'm very energetically sensitive to things, and I'm a Virgo moon and rising, so I'm very, very hard on myself. And so I've just been channeling this Aries energy where when I notice, I just picture it as like threads of energy extending all these directions around, what did this person think of that? Or, oh my gosh, what about this and this? Like all of these concerns that I have about other people. I've just been picturing myself pulling all those threads of energy back towards my body and just coming back to myself, just being like, I'm just not gonna care. I'm just not going to care about that. Whatever. I did what it was that I needed to do, and that's that. Like I'm telling you, hang out with your Aries friends. That's how I kind of learned about that, is just observing them within their space. Like I've told this story before, but I stayed with my Aries friend. She lives in Brooklyn. And when I was staying with her, I was just amazed at the way that she lives her life. Like she would just get on meetings and just say exactly what needed to get done. And I would be like, are you worried about how they perceive that? And she's like, no, it was what needed to get done. She's a Taurus rising. She would nap in the middle of every single day, and like all of her tasks would get done, but she wasn't like worried around, do they think that I'm bad because I'm not online? She's like, I just do my job, and doing my job requires me to take care of myself, and that's that, and I don't really care who has opinion on that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I was inspired. I'm still inspired whenever I think about it. I don't think I'll ever be able to nap. I'm just not a napper, but I was inspired by the energy around being like, I did the best that I could do. Other people's opinions about that have nothing to do with me. So if you notice you're like, is it good enough? What does this person think of my jewelry business? Just see yourself drawing all the energy back and just being like, I just don't care. It's not that easy, but it kind of is. Try to play with that. If you are somebody who like a lot of your energy is around, what did that person think about what I said at that meeting? Just see if you could just shift into this energy around, whatever, I did what I needed to do. Center yourself within your experience. The sun is exalted in Aries. This is a time that you are cosmically supported to be selfish, to be concerned with yourself. It's not saying you can't still be a good person and be kind and sweet, but it's this energy around you are not responsible for other people's reactions to you. You are not responsible for other people's opinions of you. It honestly has nothing to do with you. You just need to be concerned with doing the best that you can do, right? And that's that. Other people's stuff is their business. So don't let those suffocating feelings around what other people will think about something keep you from starting your thing, to putting out content or whatever it is, that desire that's kind of being etched out within your soul. At the end of the day, with Aries energy, I've shared this quite a bit, you either need to live with the essentially guilt around not going after it or shame around going after it and feeling like it failed, right? And which one do you learn more from? You can either live in, I want to do this, but I don't know, or you can either live in, I did it and I learned A and B and C. So you just need to rectify that within your soul. And I just want to share with the Capricorn moon scoring Chiron, there can be certain insecurities that are being prompted as it relates to it. But I just want you to believe in yourself. Keep hyping up that Jupiter energy exacted the day prior, so it's still somewhat available to us. And then just be conscious. On Wednesday night, the Capricorn moon is building to square Jupiter in Aries. Shut down, log off. When the job's done, log off. This is just the energy where we can be sort of overly optimistic around what it is that we can take on. Like being like, yeah, tomorrow I'm going to do all the Q4 reports. I'm telling you, there is no rush. Mercury is in Taurus. Slow and steady. It's in its pre-retrograde shadow. You're going to start to notice technical difficulties start to come up, miscommunications. There is no rush. Take a beat, slow down, and be conscious with what it is that you put on your schedule. On Thursday, we have the last quarter moon. So this is a callback to last week's Libra full moon, which PS, let me know how that was for you. So if it was intense, if your answer is like, hey, the comet, it was a lot. I want to let you know that sometimes with the last quarter moon, there can be certain reminders of it or reflections from it. So just being conscious of that. And also when it comes to this last quarter moon, there can be energy around what it is that we need to let go. Maybe for some, that Libra full moon made you realize how much it is that you need to, release this desire or this addiction to approval or validation from others. This energy around, this is not serving me for my new start. This is not serving me, being concerned with other people's opinions or things of that nature, letting go of performing. Again, you could check out the Libra full moon deep dive, all signs, to understand what was really playing out within your world and within your chart. And then the Capricorn moon sextiles Neptune and Pisces. So add a little dreaminess to your daily routine, right? Like, you might go to your work desk like it's any other day, but there are little ways to infuse some magic, right? Like being really present when you make your morning latte, right? Or grab a cup of coffee. Like this is a day to like really smell, your coffee. Like obviously when it's part of your daily routine, you could just kind of like be in the flow of it, but really being present as if this was the first cup of coffee that you've ever drank. Or maybe for some of you, if you don't drink coffee, like really allowing the process of getting ready to be a ritual, something of that nature. I do want to let you know that the moon is void from 7:14 a.m. to 1:42 p.m. I also want to let you know that it is debated whether or not the moon is void in signs that it either is particularly favorable towards or signs that it is unfavorable towards. So just something to consider, but I personally would be a little cautious. And when I say the moon's void, what I'm saying is stick to more mundane, routine matters of life. Things such as, your routines, dishes, household stuff, like definitely not bucketing the most important pitch ever. Could be sort of energy where like meetings go nowhere. But I will say for creatives, Capricorn moon, sextile Neptune and Pisces, dream, right? Dream, create space to contemplate, to envision new worlds. Like I'm telling you, if you are someone who would identify as creative, you need time to do nothing. You need time to do nothing. It is productive to do nothing. And I forget which book it's from. I know it's an excerpt that was in Soft Time by Gil Edwards, which is such an amazing book. I love it so much. I found it in one of those like free, I find like all my books in those like free library things and I like exchange them. That was one that I found. I'm telling you, book magic is a real thing. I never buy new books. I just go to thrift stores and I go to little free libraries to exchange. And I'm telling you, the right books will find you at the right time. But that's why if people ask me for a book recommendation, especially astrology, I'll like recommend some books from the 80s and people are like, what? I can't even find this online. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I found it at a little free library. But anyways, found that at a little free library. But in that book, she took an excerpt, and I believe it's by the writer Brenda Uland. But basically, when you're constantly busy, your thoughts are like staccato. It's just like boop, 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 boop. Whereas when you are in soft time, your thoughts are more flowy, they're more big picture, they're more creative, right? So allowing space to do nothing helps you to germinate and to create these big picture ideas rather than when you're just busy running from thing to thing. It's hard to really allow those visions to really cultivate. And if you're someone who's creative who like kind of feels like things just come to you, you may find they come to you when you're literally doing nothing. So all I'll say is on Thursday is a great day to do nothing. Maybe go for a walk and just seek to empty your mind. Just notice what comes up, what you observe, right? I think she calls it moodling, the process of doing nothing, just puttering, observing, dilly-dallying. Neptune and Pisces is supportive of that. The Capricorn moon might be like, come on, we got to get to it. But anchoring in the affirmation, it is productive for me to seek inspiration. Okay, that'll trick the Capricorn moon to allow you some space to rest, reflect, and cultivate new ideas. And then the moon enters Aquarius at 1:42 p.m., where it promptly conjoins Pluto about 30 minutes after. When moon's on Pluto, we can be feeling things really intensely, and yet because Venus trine Pluto is separating, then the moon trines Venus in Gemini. So while things can feel really intense, this is really aligned as it relates to social gatherings, like double date energy, social connection energy. Just with Moon on Pluto, we're definitely not craving, surface level connections, like, this energy where, you might get a double date and they're talking about aliens or something of that nature, but how lovely to feel seen, because when it comes to Aquarius energy, there's oftentimes a mark of Aquarius placements, or all of us when the moon's in Aquarius, in which this energy around feeling different than other people, and how lovely it is to feel seen and feel a genuine connection with somebody who also feels different, or something so healing in that. So certainly with Moon Pluto, we could be feeling things really intensely. Maybe, just humanity is bumming you out, or you're feeling nervous about the state of the world, but with the energy of the Aquarius moon trining Venus and Gemini, being open to connect with other people around it, it helps you to feel less alone. On Friday, the 14th, Venus in Gemini squares Saturn in Pisces. And this is the energy that I was talking about in the vibe check, where it's just like kind of this vibe around feeling rejected, right? Around feeling like, oh, I thought I was going to get all of these sales. I thought I was going to be able to quit my job in 2 months because I was really feeling myself, right, when I was creating this, but I only got 2 sales. And it can be a bummer, right? Like with Venus square Saturn, there could just be an energy around feeling inherently not valuable. Like when we talk about Venus, we're talking about value. So with Venus square Saturn, you could just be feeling lame about yourself, and that is okay, and it's temporary, okay? And some of you, it's going to come up in different ways. Some of you, with Venus square Saturn, you could be feeling it financially, around just like bummed out around like your finances at this time. Maybe there is some kind of unexpected energy on Friday. So some of you might have gotten an unexpected bill, or something that kind of threw a wrench in your plans. Where you're like, what the heck? What is up with this world? Every time I get ahead on something, some bill comes in. Like, what the heck? I didn't ask to be here. Why is it so expensive to be alive? There could be absolutely that energy. There could be an energy with Venus square Saturn around feeling socially awkward, or feeling socially rejected. In relation to your interpersonal connections, there could be a vibe around feeling a little like lacking in love, like really craving love, but not necessarily feeling like it's accessible. Maybe there's a vibe around feeling rejected. And I just want to share, when it comes to Venus square Saturn, I want you to know every single person has felt rejected. Every single person has felt left down. The most successful business owner that you know has experienced rejection, has had that moment where they had certain expectations and the reality didn't exactly measure it up. And you might be saying, not this person, not this person. I guarantee you. And I feel so grateful for the experiences that I've had, because it helped me sharpen that in early. So when I had quit my 9-to-5 and was still building up my business, I did freelance for a couple different business owners, all of whom I admire so much. And if you are someone's assistant, okay, if you've been someone's assistant, if you are someone's assistant, you are really in it with that person. You see a lot of their personal life, whether it's intended or not. It just naturally, kind of by osmosis, just handling more of their tasks, you just kind of like see some stuff. And obviously I'm always someone to be trusted with that. Like I would never reveal any of that, but it's just interesting getting these intimate details of someone's kind of professional world, personal world, them just navigating the fluctuations of their world. You're really in it with them. Like their psychology, their moods, their business, like there's just a lot of their life that you kind of merge into. And I'm really grateful for those experiences, because it helped me to sort of see behind the scenes of these things, because these are all incredibly successful women. Everybody that I worked for was all women. Everybody that I was an assistant for, incredibly successful women leading these incredible businesses with amazing results, amazing reviews. Like there is a certain energy that we see from the outside. We're like, that person's never failed. That person has never had, bumps in the road. I'm telling you, from being these people's assistants, they absolutely did, right? It's human nature. It happens to everybody. And oftentimes we don't see it because we just see the veneer, we just see the success. We don't understand all that goes into it, right? And all that goes into it is eventual redirections and rejections. And I'm grateful I got that behind the scenes look, because when it comes to my business, when it comes to the many rejections that I have felt throughout my business and experienced throughout my business, I understood it was normal. I understood it was natural, right? Because I saw working for all of these different really successful women. It's just part of building your own thing. And some of you won't feel this in business necessarily. Some of you will feel this in love. Maybe you really liked someone, you shot for the stars on Tuesday and you initiated a date, and then on Friday they're like, hey, I'm really not looking for anything. And you're like, what the heck? Like, just like I was saying, every single business owner that you admire has experienced rejection. Every single person you have been on a date with where you're like, that person never gets rejected, they have. These are just human experiences that we all pretend like we don't have, right? In this effort to seem like the coolest and the best. So all I'm saying is, do not take it too personally. This too shall pass. If you're feeling lame, if you're feeling rejected, see what this rejection is teaching you. I'm telling you, like I said in the beginning, redirections and rejections are the universe's protection. Maybe that person that you instigated the date with, maybe they are not your person, right? And the universe is like, do not go there. Maybe, you know, that jewelry business, maybe that's not your calling, but you're going to find your calling in 2 weeks. Or maybe this particular launch, maybe there's something you could dial in and then the sales will come in. See what this rejection is teaching you. And I also want to highlight, Venus is also beauty. So with Venus square Saturn, just feeling down on yourself, having ugliest girl in the world attack, a podcast that I listen to always calls it that, ugliest girl in the world attack. We all have those. Think of the most beautiful person you know. They have had moments of insecurity, okay? So when it comes to Venus square Saturn, not believing it, not getting attached to it, right? You are not the ugliest girl in the world, ugliest guy in the world. Like, these sort of fluctuations are natural, okay? These sort of fluctuations are natural, not taking it personally. Like, we're just not seeing Venus areas of our life clearly on Friday, and it's on Venus Day, no less. We're not seeing love clearly. We're not seeing money clearly. We're not seeing our value clearly. We're not seeing beauty clearly. Understanding that and just seeing what it is that you can learn from it and just keep it moving, my love. And so on Friday, there is a vibe around something unexpected coming up. The moon's in Aquarius, squaring off with Uranus and Mercury. Unexpected news, technical difficulties, things that don't go according to plan, and you could just be feeling drained. You might not be able to tap into the pleasure on Friday. Maybe things are just really hectic and you have to deal with all these spontaneous things. Maybe there's something that's just not working and you're so frustrated. You're like, why is life like this? This is not fair. Like I said, unexpected bill, something of that nature. The Aquarius moon squaring Mercury. People could be stubborn. They could be rigid. You could be the one being stubborn, like trying something over and over on Microsoft Word and just be like, why isn't this working? I'm just going to click it over and over. We could be stubborn. We can be getting in our own way. If you're trying to convince somebody of something, they probably won't listen. We're all a little stubborn and attached to our opinion. That's the downside of Mercury and Taurus. Just channel the Mercury and Taurus energy one step at a time. Handle what it is that you need to handle on Friday. Understand this too shall pass, okay? The Aquarius moon does sextile Chiron and Aries, so if possible to do something healing after work that just brings you back, right? Just allowing yourself to rebound and recover, and just understand it won't always feel like it does today. And even though there's kind of a wrench in the plans with the Aquarius moon squaring Uranus and Taurus, looking for ways to be spontaneous, to adjust. There is a vibe, honestly. Maybe you kind of had a bad day, unexpected bill, busy at work, felt rejection at work, someone had bad feedback, something in nature that just made you feel not valuable. I will say with the Aquarius moon squaring Uranus and Taurus, looking for opportunity for spontaneity, because the next moon aspect doesn't exact till Saturday morning, is a sextile to Jupiter and Aries. So if you had a bad day, you just need to blow off steam, you're like, to your partner, to your best friend, you're like, can we go to a dive bar and play pool? Like, it could just be an energy where you are able to feel good and to consciously feel good, even though there were some challenges earlier in the day. So on Saturday the 15th, the Aquarius moon sextiles Jupiter and the sun kind of early in the morning. So great day to wake up and go for an adventure, right? Do something that disrupts the routine. Like maybe with the Venus square Saturn, maybe the limitation is like, I want to learn and socialize, but like life keeps getting in the way. Do something that disrupts the routine. I'm telling you, later in the day is more kind of aligned as it relates to your responsibilities, okay? So seize this moment for exploration, for being social, for being open to life, go on a hike, do something of that nature. The moon is void from 8:16 a.m. to 3:57 p.m., at which point the moon enters Pisces, and because Saturn is in Pisces, it is joined by Saturn in Pisces. So when the moon enters Pisces, we want to dream, we want to visualize, but Saturn's like, maybe you could dream and visualize after you get your tasks done, right? This would be a time to ensure that you're showing up for your responsibilities. Saturday is Saturn's day, right? So if you say you're gonna run, run, right? If you say you're gonna meal prep. Like I know the Pisces moon is gonna do so, kicking and screaming, being like, I just want to dream, I just want to envision, I just want to create. But Saturn in Pisces is like, okay, maybe after you get everything done. And that exacts later in the evening. So just letting you know, when the moon enters Pisces, there can be this call to want to escape, but with the energy of Saturn, having to really face your responsibilities and your duties. And it's not the time, although the Pisces moon does want to escape, it's not the time I would necessarily go out. Like again, don't like reschedule if you have something major planned, but with the energy of Saturn, you could just sort of be out with a drink in hand being like, oh, I really should have done my laundry, or just feeling a little bit more drained. I will say Pisces pretty emotional, and with this conjunction to Saturn, just feeling real life stuff a little intensely, or just feeling really down on yourself. Like again, life circumstances can be hard. It can be challenging. With the Pisces moon, it could sort of be getting you down tonight. But again, just understanding it won't always feel like it does today. Still believe in yourself, understanding this too shall pass, this too shall pass, this too shall pass, and just doing what it is that is helpful in order to ensure that you are showing up for your reality. The Pisces moon wants to escape reality, and Saturn's like, no, no, no. Even at the dive bar, you can't escape reality. Even just daydreaming in bed, you can't escape reality. So show up for it and then give the Pisces moon time to dream. And honestly, the moon squares Venus, so this happens very early on Sunday, but we'll definitely feel it on Saturday night. So we could just be feeling scattered and distracted, feeling pressure, having a lot to do, not sure how exactly to get started. Again, seeing situations through this lens of how it is that we can learn, and just striving to stay focused. And then on Sunday, the 16th, yes, we do have that distracted, sort of all over the place energy of the Pisces moon squaring Venus and Gemini. But then we have a really lovely afternoon, which thank goodness. Don't you love Pisces moon Sundays? Now, since we did our responsibilities on Saturday, Sunday is the day to play. It's the day to create. And the Pisces moon is just getting all of this support from the cosmos. It's getting a trine from Mars and Cancer. So we're in the mood to like take action on our ideas. Again, with Mars and Cancer, pay attention to your energy. It is trying to tell you something. It is trying to tell you something. So if you feel a call around, I just feel randomly inspired that I want to review these old journals. I'm telling you, with Mercury retrograde on the horizon, we typically do feel a nudge to want to like revisit the past, whether it's past projects, and Mars and Cancer is associated with the past as well. Sometimes there could be gems of inspiration through revisiting the past. The important thing is not to get stuck there, but essentially following, whether it's revisiting your own journals and seeing like a poem that you wrote a couple years ago and being like, this isn't so bad. Maybe I'm feeling called to, rewrite it. Maybe it's like allowing your intuition to guide you in a direction around being like, oh, I should do laundry, but I'm feeling inspired randomly to organize my closet. You organize your closet and then you feel inspired to do laundry. Following your intuition, following your instincts around what it is that you feel drawn to do. And lovely day for writing, because the Pisces moon does sextile Mercury in Taurus, Uranus in Taurus. I'm telling you, writers, if you're feeling stuck, revisit old material. There's some gems in there, okay, that you've been sleeping on. I am telling you, there can even just be a line of something that you've wrote prior and you're like, who wrote this? Did I write this? And it can help get you out of slump if you are feeling a little bit more drained. And seriously, I would just deeply recommend on Saturday trying to bucket, especially kind of in the evening time, trying to bucket a lot of your responsibilities so that Sunday you could just play and expand and explore and ground down into what feels good. That's what the Pisces moon's all about. We love a dreamy Sunday. So my loves, that is our week. Our Magic Monday mantra of the week is, I believe in myself. And I know that's so corny, but it's truly so important this week. You need to be your own biggest cheerleader. You need to be your own biggest fan. And the Jupiter cazimi earlier in the week is a reminder of that. And if I didn't share within that part, I just want to let you know, when I say the word cazimi, I mean sun conjunct, in this case, Jupiter. The word cazimi means in the heart of the sun. Essentially, the two are fused together. And there's lots of blessings so long as we believe in ourselves, right? Believe in ourselves enough to put ourselves out there. Even if there's rejection, you put yourself out there to someone you're interested in. They're not interested. You put yourself out there for this jewelry business. It's not exactly the smash hit right away that you thought that you would expect. Nonetheless, you need to believe in yourself. You cannot let these external factors decide for you your internal value, your internal purpose. Like, it really is such an important week to live from the inside out around, I see value in this and I'm putting it out there. And obviously, sometimes it can be a blow to the ego when we don't feel like our own effort is being validated by others. But at the end of the day, you need to love yourself regardless. You need to cheerlead yourself regardless. Like, at the end of the day, what it is that you do, what it is that you create, you need to be a fan of. And it's hard to build that belief, especially with Venus squaring Saturn, which could make you feel, do I have something valuable to write? Do I have something of value to share? Do I have something of value to create? This jewelry for other people. At the end of the day, you need to see that within yourself. We all have those moments of not feeling sure of ourselves. Think of the most confident, successful person. I guarantee they have gone through this as well. You won't feel absolutely 100% confident and 100% in control every single day of your life. So it's just important to honor those fluctuations and have ways to sort of build yourself up when you're not feeling so hot. Allowing the fluctuation around, okay, my launch wasn't exactly as I thought it would be. This person said no to the date. I'm not feeling as loved from my partner. And having ways that you sort of can build that love, that value, that appreciation within yourself. Because as Aries season reminds us, like at the end of the day, it is you, right? And you need to be your own biggest cheerleader. Obviously, we're here to learn from others with Venus and Gemini. But at the end of the day, you need to like you. You need to like you. You need to feel inspired by what it is that you're doing. And that's why successful entrepreneurs are a little bit delusional. You kind of have to be delusional in your own belief with yourself so that that enthusiasm is contagious and other people start to believe in you as well. So I just want to share, if you have recently suffered a blow where something did not go as you thought it would, you launched something and it's going slower than you would imagine, Mercury and Taurus is going to slow down some of our results. It doesn't mean you're off track, right? It just means you need to stay focused to the end result and show up for yourself in the interim. There is a danger when we live our life just kind of seeking this external validation, okay? Because the thing about external validation is it is constantly fluctuating. There will be moments when you feel like you are a god on this planet and ways and times that you feel like you are a loser and you need to cheerlead yourself regardless, right? Like I think a lot of us who own our own business, our own creations on the internet, there is a danger around, oh, my stats are good, I'm feeling great, I'm amazing, or my stats are bad, I feel horrible. Like I'm really glad that this far into doing YouTube, I feel very, very neutral about it. Like obviously I'm very grateful for the people that are here, but I understand that doesn't say anything about me. Your jewelry business doesn't say anything about your value. You know your own value. The external circumstances don't always reflect it, but it just matters that you are continuing to chisel and excavate work that you are proud of, the person that you are meant to be, right? Because external factors, they will wax and wane. But many things in life are fleeting, so your own belief in yourself needs to be a constant, okay? There will be moments that you feel unsure. There will be moments that you feel insecure. Have ways to build yourself up, to believe in yourself even when it's hard, because that's when the success comes. You have to go through many redirections, many rejections for you to finally get those external results that really mirror the internal value that you know that you have, right? We're in a week to, be a little delusional and to not feel so down on yourself when things don't work out. In fact, welcome the failure, welcome the rejection. Every rejection from someone that you thought might be your person is creating the pathway for the person who is your person. Every rejection in business, every launch that doesn't go as expected gives you data for being more successful the next time. It just means do not give up. Do not give up and cheerlead yourself within that pursuit. So my loves,